Hey Titans, this is Mordecai from Team Meta. In this video, I'm going to be going over a new CC component that Team Meta has just released called Meta Achievement System. And to go ahead and download or use in your game the Meta Achievement System on community content, it's under the creator Team Meta, and the name of it is Meta Achievement System. So all you'll have to do is go ahead and click on import here, save it, and now it will be under your shared content, or my shared content in this case. And all you'll want to do is just go ahead and drag the system over into your hierarchy, and right out of the box the system will work. So right on the main system is a few custom properties. One of them is called enabled. So this is set up where if you are trying to do some testing and you don't necessarily want the achievement system to be active, you could just go ahead and uncheck this and it'll turn off the entire system. So if you are wanting to use the actual achievement system though, make sure that this is checked and is left on. The other thing is that the achievement system does rely on either player storage or shared key, and it's set up in a way that it's very easy to switch between the two. So one thing is if you are using save progress, you will want to make sure that this is checked, and this will enable the system to actually automatically store the progress of your players for their achievements. And when this is checked, you will want to make sure that you have, under game settings here, you'll want to make sure that you select enable player storage here as one option. And if this isn't checked, it will throw some warnings at you. So if you're getting those warnings that player storage isn't enabled, it is in game settings in your project. So going back to the system here, if you did want to use shared key, now shared key is a newer feature on Core that allows creators to have a key that is able to be accessed in multiple games. And so, for example, with just normal player storage, the storage is only stored on that particular game. And so each individual game has its own player storage, but then also creators have access to 8 keys per project of shared key. And that would allow the information to be saved across multiple games. So if you do have a project that is using like child games or any type of transferring the player to another game and you want their achievements to be saved, using shared key is the way to go. And if you do have this checked, what you'll want to do is you will want to make a net reference. And to do that, you can go to Window, you can go to Shared Storage, and you can create a new key. And for example, you can just do achievements. You save it, make sure it's enabled, and all you'll do is just go ahead and drag this new shared key into the net reference here. And you'll want to do this on each project that you plan on using the achievement system with. If these keys are different, then it won't actually save the progress. So the next time, so say that you add it to this project and you want to add the achievement system to another project, what you'll want to do is actually go to shared storage and simply click enable next to achievements here on that project, and then drag the same key in, and then it will successfully work. So for this demonstration though, I am going to turn this off just so it's using the basic player storage. A few other options here is the achievement system is set up in a way that it allows a lot of options to you as a creator. And one of those is by giving rewards for different achievements. So once a player has actually successfully progressed all the way to completion of an achievement, you can give them various rewards. And so if you would like, if your game is round based or something like that, and you want to automatically give those rewards at the round end, you would set this to true. The other option is if you only want to give rewards to the winning team, you could set this option to true. Now I'm going to leave these both off, even though this is the default deathmatch framework, to show the actual panel that you can enable to allow allow players to see their progress of the achievements at any time. And so this keybind right here, this is the actual keybind string that players will use to actually enable and disable the achievement system, the panel. And so right now it's set to 0. So if you click, so just to show you real quick, which I guess I should have done earlier, is if a player presses 0 currently, they can see the achievement list, and you can see that I've set up several different examples of achievements. And as you progress as a player, so as an example, one of the achievements is to type GG in game. If I close this and type GG, you can see down at the bottom right that it says achievement unlocked, chat example. And now when I press 0 again, I can see that I have completed this achievement, and it's going to give me 25 gold and 25 experience. I can click claim, and then once it's claimed, it then goes into the completed tab. So you can see that I have completed this achievement. I'll go ahead and click exit now. So the other thing that you'll want to do is, because this is a template right out the gate, you will want to de-instance this. And the reason for that is because to add new achievements, you'll need to add them to the achievement list right here. So underneath the achievement system is achievement list, and you'll see a lot of different names here. And what this is any achievement that you put underneath this specific group, that is then determining how the achievement is unlocked. So for example, these are all out of the box examples that just work with any project, and then there's also custom. So for example, a kill based achievement is an achievement that whenever one player kills another, then they start getting progress towards that achievement. And underneath kill, so if I go ahead and open up this group and I click on kill example, here is the actual achievement data for this specific achievement. So very similar to the actual enable, disable of the entire system that I showed earlier, you can also toggle on and off individual achievements at any given time. And the best part about this is currently, if you disable something that a player, say that you published your game and you had this particular achievement enabled, and then they saved some progress, it will continue to save the progress of the achievement even if it is disabled. It won't remove their storage from that. So just be aware of that. So we're going to go ahead and leave this enabled. The ID, so the ID has to be unique for each achievement. I recommend keeping it as small as possible. So what I do is I'll put, like, for kill achievements, I'll put like KI1, but you're free to put whatever you want in this. Like I said, it'll be more performant if you can keep these smaller, as long as they remain unique. They have to be unique against all other achievements in the system. So that is one thing to be aware of. The family custom property, the system is set up in a way that if you have repeatable achievements, such as, say that we had a tier-based system of achievements, that it was kill 10 players, kill 20 players, kill 50 players. If all of those achievements have the same family, so say we just typed in kill based here, if those 3 achievements had the same family, then it would only unlock the one that has the highest progress. So for example, if they got 25 kills, it wouldn't give them credit for the 10, it would give them credit for the 25 kill achievement at the end of the round. That's what this is really set up for. So that allows creators to set up almost like a medal system where, like in Strike Team, if you've played that, the further along you go, like if you do more damage, you'll unlock higher and higher achievements, but you'll only visibly see one of them at the end of the round, and that is the one that you unlocked that had the highest required amount. So just going to go ahead and delete that. So the required, this is how many actions a player has to do, or how many times a player has to do said action to actually unlock the achievement. So for example, if this is a kill-based achievement, by putting 25 here, they have to kill 25, they have to kill a player 25 times. And once they do so, then they will have unlocked this achievement. So that's what this is. So just as an example, if I put this to 1, then it would, if one player killed another 1 time, then they would unlock the achievement. So we'll go ahead. Actually, I'll leave this as 1 so we can go ahead and do a demonstration. The icon, so you can just click this, and what I'll do is I'll type in like sci-fi, or there's military icons now too, so you can do like military. So the icon is what the player will see as the icon of the achievement, and it pops up in both the panel that we toggled earlier, it pops up in the notification, and then there's also an end screen option for you as a creator to go ahead and show all of the achievements that a player unlocked during a round. So this icon is really what the player will use to identify what achievement it is. The description, so this is basically just a description of what the player has to do to actually unlock the achievement, and this will show in the toggle version of the achievement panel. Another option is the actual achievement repeatable? So if you have this set to true, then with various different things, you can have it reset. So for example, say that someone got 25 kills and you set this to repeatable, then you can change it so it'll reset the progress of the achievement on round start. So this is very good if you have a round-based game that you want players to be able to do the same achievements over and over. You could just go ahead and have it reset on round start, or you could also have it reset daily. And so the daily reset is every 20 hours. And so the reason I have it for every 20 hours is if you had it as 24 hours, then a player would, even if they played every day, they slowly are getting behind. If you played the same time every day by having it 24 hours, then they'd have to play later and later and later to actually get that reset. So I go ahead and found that 20 hours is good, and I'll show you how to change that if you want to have a different time setting for that. The other thing you can do is force it to only reset if they've completed the achievement. So it will, so say that they gathered some progress on one round and you didn't want to reset it until they fully completed it, then that's where you would check this. So we're going to go ahead and turn these both off because we want this achievement to just progressively gather more progress. The other option is if you want your achievements to actually give rewards. And so by having this checked, you can see that under this achievement there's children of this achievement. And so there's a few examples here. So this is where the actual reward is of this achievement. So we have gold, which is a resource. So we would just put the resource name here. We put how much we want to give them. And you could put a resource description, but currently it doesn't show anywhere in the actual UI. One thing is do not change the type. So the type is what determines what type of reward it is for the system. And that's how it knows what it's supposed to do when this reward is claimed. So just go ahead and leave type as 1 in this case. 1 is a reward. And then also we have a few other types, one of which is for reward points. So here, there's just a few examples here. So that's how this achievement is giving out gold and XP. And one thing I should mention is that how you actually name the achievements and the rewards is you actually change the name of the object itself. So for example, if I change this to silver, then it would show in the UI that the name of this reward is silver. However, unless I change the resource name, it would still give gold. So just be aware of that. So we're gonna go ahead and change this back to gold. And so any reward or anything in your game that is using the resource system, it's very easy to give out rewards. And in the future, depending on requests from creators, we may be able to add other types of rewards. But for now, it's mostly resources and reward points. So same thing as with the rewards. If you want to change the name of the achievement, you would just change it on the object itself. And moving right along here. So the other thing you can do is have prerequisites. And a prerequisite is, say that you had multiple achievements. So how you add another achievement is you just can copy and paste. And now we have a new one. And you just want to change the ID as an example. We do example 2. So say that if we go to this one, we would copy the ID. If we wanted a prerequisite, we would put the ID of the actual achievement that a prerequisite is required for. So what this allows you to do is, in this case, a player wouldn't start getting progress to kill example 2 until they've actually successfully completed kill example 1. And you can do this with as many prerequisites as you want. So for example, you would just do comma, and then you would put the ID of any other achievement that you want as a prerequisite of this particular achievement. So the resource name here, this isn't needed for the kill-based achievements, but what it is needed for is the actual resource-based achievements. So I'll switch over to this real quick. So for example, if you want a achievement that the player has to get to a certain amount of a specific resource, for example, in this case, gold, and the reason I set up gold is because all of our other examples are giving out gold as the reward. Once the player gets 75 gold, then it would unlock this achievement. And by having it underneath the resource group here and simply putting in the resource name, that's how it enables the system to listen to this resource change and actually give credit to the player if they get whatever the required is here. So they have to have 75 gold on this resource. And like I said, once they achieve that, it will then unlock the achievement. So going back to the kill-based one, just to keep the same example going here. The other option you have as a creator is an achievement time-based. So if you check this, the timer will be enabled or starts when a player joins or when the round starts. So for example, if it was get 25 kills and you wanted it to be time-based, saying they have to do it in this amount of time, it's the time in seconds. So for example, if you wanted them to unlock this achievement and you wanted them to do it in a minute, which likely isn't possible, but if you wanted to, you would just put 60 seconds here. And if the timer goes past 60 seconds, even if they did get 25 kills, it wouldn't actually give them credit because they didn't complete it in the required time. So let's go ahead and leave that off for now as well. So these settings are true. All of these are true for the kill, the damage, healing, win, and round. So we can see that if we go to damage, this is a damage-based achievement. Similar to kill, this one is every time a player does damage, if they did 100 damage to another player, they would unlock this achievement. For healing, it's the same thing. One thing to note here is it listens for a negative damage value. So if your game does healing and it's doing it by directly modifying the player's health without passing a negative damage number to that player, this currently won't work. So how this works is if your weapon does negative damage, it will track as healing because that's how one of the ways to heal in core. And so just like damage, in this case, if a player does 100 healing, then they would unlock this achievement. There's win-based achievements. So if a player is on the winning team at the end of a round, they will get credit. And so in this case, they would have to win 5 times and they would unlock this achievement. Another option is round-based, which is similar to win. However, they don't have to be on the winning team. So any achievement that is under round, every time a round ends, they get credit towards the achievement. We've already kind of gone over the resources. So after resource, we then have social. So social has a few unique settings, and that's because it is a slightly different type of achievement. And so it ties into the chat hooks and it ties into the actual player's friends. And so there's a few options here. One of them is you can make a social achievement that is chat based. And so to make it chat based, you simply make the Boolean true for chat based. And then currently one of the achievements is having a player type in something specific to this chat string. So for example, if you want the player to type GG, you just put GG. And it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase. It doesn't matter what it's not case sensitive, and so you can put it however you want. And basically how it works is if a player sends a message and that message includes GG, then it will give credit to the player for this achievement. If you wanted to do a friend achievement, what this does is every time a player joins, it checks to see if the player that just joined is friends with the local player, and will give them credit if they have enough friends online with them. So for example, if you want an achievement to just play with one friend, you would set this to 1, and as soon as one player that is their friend joins the game, it would unlock this achievement. If you wanted to up this value to say 3, they would then have to wait to have 3 friends all in the same game with them before they could unlock this achievement. There's also exploration or explore based achievements, and so this one also has a few different examples, and this is not supposed to be there. So with trigger based achievements, that's why there's this trigger group in the achievement system. All you have to do is, it's got the same settings, but all you have to do is give a object reference to the trigger that you want this achievement to be based on. So for example, the current trigger is location based demo trigger, and so if a player overlaps with this trigger, and I'm not sure where it's at, so we can put it to the middle. Oops, we'll put it in the middle here of the map. There we go. So now if a player were to overlap with this trigger, it would give them credit for the overlap. And so this one is set up where the required doesn't necessarily matter, because as soon as they interact with that trigger, it will just automatically unlock the achievement. So this is really good for games that are like, you know, like RPGs or obbies. It's basically an achievement based on getting to a certain point in your game, and as soon as the player overlaps with that trigger, then they will get credit for it. Another option, it's based on the actual trigger itself, is if you don't have interactable, like if the trigger itself is not interactable, the system will use begin overlap. So as soon as the player overlaps with the trigger, it will give them credit. However, if you change this to interactable, that's why there's this normal context trigger example, a click demo trigger. If the trigger is interactable and we changed the overlap example to use this trigger, they would then get credit if they interacted with it. So that is another option as well. We also have retention based achievements, and so this has the same custom property that we don't need. Retention based achievements ties into that daily reset, and so I highly recommend having retention based achievements to always be repeatable, and they will automatically reset once they've been completed, as long as the time of your daily timer has also reset. So for example, if you want to give a player some reward for simply just logging into your game every 20 hours, you would go ahead and set up a daily login, and all the settings are the same. It's just the required I would leave as 1 because it automatically unlocks, and log in once per day. So this one's really good where you can have multiples where you have prerequisites. So for example, you can have a prerequisite of log in once, and then you can have one for login, 2 days in a row, and the 2 day in a row would have to have a prerequisite that they have to have finished this one. And so you can make a chain of giving higher and higher value rewards with the retention based stuff. Now, I know there's a lot of different types of achievements that players or creators will want to add to their games that I haven't thought of, and it doesn't work out of the box. And so that's where these custom achievements come into play for creators that want to do some more custom type stuff. And so to make a custom achievement, you just want to put it under the custom folder here. A lot of the settings are in fact the same. So this is just all the information for the achievement. and then you will have to hop into code here. That's why it is in fact a custom achievement. And this achievement has a few listeners, and so when you want them to actually, if you want a player to actually get progress towards this specific achievement, what you would do is you do an events.broadcast to achievement add progress, and right here is the function that it calls. So all you'd have to do is pass the player. You'd have to pass the ID, and the ID is the ID that you set here. So in this case, it would be CU1. And so you just do player CU1 and then the value. And so the value is, if you want to add 1 towards the progress of whatever achievement it is, then if the required amount is say 100 and you add 1, then they would have 1 out of 100 progress every time that event is fired. Another option for you is, if you don't want to use the broadcasts for whatever reason, you can also go into the Meta Achievement API. And so this is under server context and client context. So the API is available on both client and server. And how you access it is it's through a global called Meta Achievements. And this is not needed for most creators, but if you want, this has a ton of API functions that you can use to do whatever you want with the achievement system with your game. So this is how you would tie into it with a lot of different functions. And I went ahead and commented in terms of like what needs to be passed to them, what they return, how to use them in that sense. And then they are named pretty appropriately, so they kind of give you an indication of what each function does. And so to actually use this in both client and server, all you have to do is you would just namespace it. You just start with Meta Achievements, and then for example, there is add progress. So you would just do, to actually call this somewhere else, you would just do G_Meta Achievements, and then you would just add it like that. And so you could call this directly and be able to pass in the player, the ID, and the value as well. So that is an option if you would like. And like I said, this is a bit more advanced, but for those creators that want to do some more custom stuff, I've set it up in a way that it works both out of the box, but also creators can also do a lot of custom work with it as well. And so that is pretty much it in terms of how to set up the achievements system. So let's go ahead and do a demonstration real quick of it in action. So I'll go ahead and press 0. So I got my daily login bonus because I logged in, so I can go ahead and claim that. This one on the right should also have the daily login bonus, so I can claim that. And if you recall, we moved the location trigger to the middle of the map. So when I run to the middle, I unlocked the overlap example achievement. And as you can see, explore the area. So I can claim that as well. There's another one, the social one, which is just type GG in chat, which now I unlocked it. You can see at the bottom right. And I can click claim. And now because I should have claimed. There we go. So now when I get 1 kill, I should unlock the gold-based achievement. If I can find where this other bot is. So I'll get a kill achievement. Now I can go ahead and claim this one as well. And you can see that I got 1 progress towards my 25 kill achievement. For the gold one, I must have changed it. I'll have to double check. But it also tracks progress. Not everything has to unlock right out the gate as well. And once something is completed, once again, it goes into the completed, so the player can see all the different achievements that they have in fact claimed. So I know there will also be creators that want to change the UI. And so to do that, what you would do is go under achievement system, client context, and then there's UI. Under UI container, there is primary, notification, and the end round panel that I was talking about. So to go and change the UI, all you'd have to do is toggle the visibility of primary to force on, and this is the color scheme of the toggleable panel, and you can go ahead and go through and change the colors to whatever you see fit. One thing I will mention is if you are not familiar with code, I recommend not changing the width and the height of this panel. And the reason for that is because the actual achievement information is spawned in, and so if you adjust the width and height, it might not look that great with the actual achievement spawning in. So that's just one thing to be aware of, is that I recommend just keeping it, just changing the colors to match your game, unless you know how to code. In the future, I might be able to make it so that's easier for creators, but currently that's the state of it. So we'll go ahead and once you publish the game, make sure that you turn this back to force off. And the notification is the little pop-up when a player unlocks an achievement. With this one, you can change all the colors and everything, and you can also change its position. So say you wanted it up here, all you'd have to do is go ahead and move it up there, and then make your changes in terms of the colors and stuff like that. And then once again, just like the primary panel, you would want to force it back off. And so now when a player unlocks an achievement, it would flicker for 3 seconds. It would pop up right here and show them what achievement they unlocked. The other option that I talked about is this end round. So this is set up where it will show, so this is for more advanced creators, but if you have an end round UI that pops up, what you can do is go ahead and move this panel to that UI container of wherever the end round panel is, and it will automatically populate any achievements that the player unlocked during that round. And so to show you, end round template, so they look like this. So it would automatically populate the entire box if they unlocked 10 achievements. If they unlock more than 10 achievements, it will only show 10 achievements. So just be aware of that. And once again, how I was able to get to that template is under the UI client is the in-screen template. And then there's also the achievement panel template. And so I guess I should have shown that as well. We go back to the primary real quick and enable the visibility. Under the primary panel is achievement list and completed achievements. Oops, why is this visibility not on? Turn this off. So if you want to see the actual template of the achievement, what you would do is you just move the template into the achievement list, and this is the template that you would want to modify to actually change the colors of the achievements when they're spawned in. And so you would just make the appropriate changes. You know, if you want to change the colors and stuff like that, you just de-instance this as a template. You'd make your changes, and then you'd update the template, and then you want to be sure to delete this from the list, and then the changes would be automatically applied when they are spawned in as the player, as you add achievements to your game. So hopefully this tutorial was helpful. This functionality, or this CC, I will be continuing to add functionality to it, or I should say Team Meta will be continuing to add functionality to it. So one thing I want to mention is if you do have any requests or problems, go ahead and mention them in the Core Creator Discord, or you could put them as a comment down below, but it's likely better to do it in the Core Creator Discord. If you are a VIP member and a perks creator, then this achievement system will work with reward points as well, and you can ask for help in the VIP channel as well. So once again, hopefully this tutorial was helpful, and if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Leave any comments down below and hit that subscribe button for more core related content. I'll catch you next time.